This is the cupboard which contains my existing RO system, and as we can see, it occupies a lot of the cupboard. It's difficult to get to. There's maintenance that has to be done in filter housings and chambers. In here there's these chambers all need to be undone. There's filters under here, under the cover there, need to be taken out, and the tank. And to sterilise all this stuff is actually quite a big job. It's something that takes quite a few hours, and you've got to know what you're doing. You have to rinse out the tank quite completely and shake it and break up tablets and try and shove them into the top. It's an absolute nightmare. You've got to take filters out, sterilise all the housings, then clean all the sterilisation fluid out, and then get the filter back in. Now that's something I should do every 6 months, but I'll be honest with you, I do it once a year. And quite often you'll see algae water, algae in the water coming out when the tank needs doing. When I open the filter cartridge chambers, sometimes there's black slime in them, really horrible. So what happens is 6 months after, or even less after I've sterilised these systems, I won't drink this water unless it's boiled, which is not great. So let's go back to the Osmio. And what I like about this is the way the system works. And I'm just going to take the back off and show you what I mean. Okay, you'll have to excuse the mess. This is my existing 5-stage under-counter RO system with the storage tank and all the plumbing. And I'm just going to show you what wastewater it produces. Now I've disconnected my waste, and you can see this tube here leading into that bottle is the wastewater. That bottle's empty. Here's a cup, and I'm going to put it under the RO tap, and I'm going to switch the RO tap on, and you'll see how much waste is produced. So the RO is now on. That's the rate it produces RO water, and this is the best case. This is when the RO system is running at its highest efficiency. There is no back pressure of a storage tank to fill, with its bladder that needs to be compressed. So this system is working as efficiently as it possibly can, and as you see, it's droplets of water. And then here's the waste pipe, and if I hold it up, you can see, I don't know if you can see clearly, there's much more waste coming, really flowing out of that pipe. Oh, I spilled a bit there, but you can see it's really coming out. Now, when I tested this system earlier, to produce 1 litre of RO water takes around, in this best case scenario, almost 5 litres of possible drinking water that gets discarded into the drain. Now, and that's working as a best case. As the tank fills up and the back pressure increases, that becomes less and less efficient. So you're probably using even more water to make a litre of RO water than I think. Okay, so that's the system running. It's a high efficiency system, quite an advanced system with a high pressure pump, just so that it doesn't use too much water. But as you can see, we're getting an awful lot of water out just to fill a relatively small amount. And here's a clearer representation of a difference in the amount of water you get out of the drain, which is the tube in my left hand, and the droplets coming out of the tap. It's quite shocking. Okay, in the Osmio system, in the rear of the Osmio, you've got 2 filters here. You've got one inside there, it's a little pull-out square filter behind these, and you've got one in the tank. Now, the tank filter is just really like a particle filter for sediment and crap in the water, and it's just a fine weave sort of material that filters out any debris and large particles, and that simply pulls out. These are simple twist and drop, like a light bulb in a way. You twist the canister and drop it down, you can twist that and drop it down. This is a carbon block. This takes out some of the heavy metals, some of the other things, the chlorine out the water, things like that. This is the actual RO membrane itself, and this removes everything else from the water. Now, it says lifetime 12 months, but that's in a conventional system that will waste a lot of water. Because this system's super water efficient, it does that at the expense of the membrane, because it's putting much more concentrated solutions back through to try and get the most out of the water you can from the tap. And then these filters actually move out for undoing. As you can see, each one levers out. And behind there's a little square box filter that's got magnesium and calcium ceramic sort of beads in it, plus some other material, and that actually puts a little bit of minerals back in the water. Now, I don't need that for my coffee machines, and in a sense putting these minerals back is an attempt to in a way it's marketing, because you don't actually need to. It's not going to harm the human body if you don't, but they do it anyway. But that's it. And because you change the whole housing and the filters inside this housing and the whole lot gets changed, of course it's very sterile, because the new filter you put in is absolutely clean, and you're changing these about every 6 months, all four, which I really like. And if you buy, a year's worth, if you buy 2 packs of 4, you're paying £43. You change it every 6 months. You know everything's totally clean. And in the interim, you can, if you think you need to sterilise anything, you can do. This tank, I'd wash this out, to be honest, every couple of weeks, every week. I'd give that a wash out. Why not? Because I'm not going to use this tank for 6 months without washing it out. I've talked to Mike, who designed and sells the systems, about the possibility of empty cartridges, okay, so that they can be put in and a sterilisation run, and then the proper cartridges put back, and you could do that every 3 months if you wanted, or at filter change time. And an empty cartridge means you could simply pop a Milton tablet in the tank and just run it through. A very easy procedure to actually clean it. So I like this because it can be really, really clean and sterile all the time you're using it, and just easy. And if anything goes wrong, if there's a leak, it's just the amount of water in the tank. If that under sink system goes wrong or leaks, that's connected to the rising main, and that's an awful lot of water that can go, especially if you're on holiday or something and the system develops a leak. With this, it's only the water in the tank, and that can only do minimal damage. But so far, the system has worked absolutely perfectly, and I've been using it for over a week now. Really good. Okay, I'm about to make a cup of coffee. So I've weighed 18 grams of coffee into the grinder, which will give me 18 grams back out. Put some scales underneath the group to actually weigh the output of espresso. It's important for consistency that I get the output weighed. That way I know I'm always getting the right amount, because the crema can be a bit deceptive on the level, and it's not a very good way of estimating the right amount. So coffee in the portafilter. Then this is how I use the Osmio Zero when I'm making a cup of coffee. First thing I'll do, I'll actually get the cup and I'll turn the water to boiling, or 100 degrees. It actually comes out at about 94. I hold the cup up just to avoid splash, and also I'm only going to run a little bit of water out, and the reason I do that is to get the water hot in the tubes, get the heater warmed up, And also I can warm the cup with that water. The next thing I do, I'll put the warm cup here and start to pull the shot. This is a pressure profiling machine, so it makes some strange noises and does some strange things to the pump as it's pulling the shot. And once I've got 36 grams of espresso, which I'm nearly at, there we go, cut the shot. I'll take the cup, there's my sweetener in my case, turn it back to hot because it resets to cold again, and I hold the cup up, and as you can see the water's coming up. Now I do hold the cup up because you can get it to splash and I just can't be bothered to keep wiping it, but it's pretty quick. And the great thing I love about the Osmio is I don't need a kettle or a water boiler. I can do it all with this and it truly comes out hot. In fact, if truth be told, our water boiler, it never actually came out quite hot enough. And that's that cup full of very hot water. This is actually what we used to have on the counter. That was just for water at any time. And that also was coupled with this, which we used to use to store the water from the under-counter RO unit. So we could tip it into this water boiler. If you didn't draw out 4 litres at once from the under-counter unit, it was very, very wasteful of water because it worked against tank back pressure. So the little Osmio unit has saved me quite a bit of time. The other thing is it's on, and you really can't hear it. It really doesn't make any noise at all, which is great. Well, a little bit, but it's a diaphragm pump and they're very, very quiet. Now, it's already stopped. It's making a different sound now, and what that means is it's actually replenished that small amount of cup of water I used already. It's got a little tiny internal RO water storage tank, and it's obviously managed to replenish that in just a minute or so, which is great. It's flushing the membrane now, which is the different sound you hear. And also it's run out of water because it's making that particular sound that I know means it's run out of water. So that's actually quite handy. It means I can show you the process to fill the unit with water. Now I put it on some felt pads. This is so that I can just slide the unit easily. I take this away and put it here. I take the entire unit and I just slide it like that, just a couple of fingers, because it's got these felt pads I put on which mean it moves around easily. And as you can see, it's just at the top of the filter, so I know it's going to stop in a moment. If I unclip it, it'll stop automatically. Move the tank. Now this water I'm going to keep, I'm just putting it in the sink for washing up, and then I'm going to fill it from the sink, from the tap in the sink. Now one of the tricks I use is it holds 5 litres, which means it can get pretty heavy, and I find it better to put just a few litres in and top it off with another container. You'll see that. So I find it easier just to part fill it like this, so it's not completely full. Then I get another container and I just finish off filling it with another container. Now one of the things that is important is that you always empty it out first before you fill it up. Can't stress that enough. And doing it this way, it's just for me easier because it makes it much lighter, much less of a weight to carry, and I think it's just simpler and safer to do it this way. I'll put a little bit more in there as a bit. Now, if there is a noise you can hear, that's not actually the pump of this at the moment, because that'll be the washing machine running in the utility room. The pump of this will start when I actually close the lid. And there you go, it's started. And it's pulling water through. So to slide it back, I can slide it back into position. And there we go, it's as easy as that. But it's a great unit. And put that back into place. Now to enjoy my coffee.